Hello, I'm Callum from the Track Time podcast, and this is 5 Championship players that are ready for Super League right now. These are players that are good enough for Super League right now, and I think they could step into the league, and you wouldn't really notice a difference. They won't seem like they're not good enough or anything like this. It's not a sort of young players from the Championship. It's not about them who eventually they should be in Super League. This is right now. Some of these players have been in Super League before and have dropped down. Some have never seen Super League. So let's get straight into it. And they're in some sort of order, but the order doesn't matter too much. So at number 5, we've actually got James Harrison, 23-year-old, second row or prop from Featherstone. Now, I personally have watched this guy quite a bit in Championship, and honestly, I think he's a big lad, but he's very tall, and he's not your traditional Championship prop where he's got a lot of timber to him. Definitely not. But his try scoring record, I just think whenever I watch him play, he just scores, makes meters, good defensively, and he's played for Batley in the past, and then obviously moved on to Fev. But it's almost similar to that Alex Walmsley, where it's like, all right, he hasn't come up through the traditional system. He's come up through Championship and then could make the leap to Super League. I don't know if he's got the Alex level of international prop forward that Alex Walmsley has, but I'd definitely say he's got the potential to at least contribute to a Super League team. And honestly, if you don't get to Super League with Fev, I can see him moving on in the future. So to number 4, I've gone with a player I do know quite well myself, in terms of watching him play a lot, and I'm pretty sure out of this list, the majority of listeners probably have watched this guy the most too, and that's Jordan Lilly at Bradford. We all know his story at Leeds and how it just didn't work out for him. But since he's been at Bradford and when he's been on loans throughout the years at Featherstone, Bradford, obviously, Lee, he's looked the real deal, and he's been almost looked too good for the Championship, and he's been really good for Bradford so far this season, getting 3 tries already in just the 6 games that we obviously have had. And I just think he's looking better than ever, and he drove Bradford to that big win last season against Leeds in the Challenge Cup, and he nearly drove them to the upset against Wakefield in the Challenge Cup this season. Obviously didn't quite get there, but it's showing that he has got that leadership skills, and I think dropping down to Championship and almost that bit of tough love he's had from Leeds, like, letting him go, it's going to make him a better player in the long run. And obviously I think Jordan will be back. I think he'll easily be back in Super League eventually, but honestly I think you could slot him into a couple of Super League teams right now and he'd do him a world of good, really. So, number 3, another half-back. He's a couple of years older than Jordan being 23. This guy's 25, and he was in the Super League last season, was this lad. It's Corey Aston, who obviously he's had a bit of it's an unorthodox career so far. Obviously came up through Sheffield, playing under his dad, Mark Aston. A lot of appearances ranked up there. Then signed for Leeds, which were a bit of strange at the time. Never actually played for Leeds in a proper game. Obviously, friendlies don't really count. But then obviously got loaned out to teams. He loaned over to like Featherstone, Bradford, then signed for Castleford, where I'm sure a lot of you have seen him play for Castleford, and I'm pretty sure you all agree he looked good for him. But I just think they didn't see enough in him there, maybe, or he just didn't fit the mould of what Darryl Powell wanted over there. And then obviously that's led to him being on various loan spells to Sheffield and even bit down at Newcastle. But now he's found a home permanently at London, and honestly, he's really thriving there, and he's really leading their promotion push to get back up into Super League. And if he don't do it with London, I'm pretty sure he'll sign somewhere else to get it done. Got number 2, an older player now, 30 years old, fullback for Toulouse, Mark Corella. Now, a lot of you might not have seen this guy play as much as the others, but honestly, this guy can play. I'm really unsure as to how he hasn't made it into Super League. French international, played loads of games for France, especially at the 2017 World Cup where he scored full-length try against Australia. What a try that was. And I'm surprised even from that he didn't get scouted at Super League, but maybe they've come for him and he just loves it at Toulouse so much because maybe he's comfortable there. But easily over 100 appearances for Toulouse, and honestly, really good player. Fullback, I'm not saying there's not a lot of good fullbacks in Super League, but I definitely think I'm surprised he hasn't been added just as even a backup. But obviously they may have gone for him and he may not have wanted to move. But honestly, he's a player that I think could definitely contribute. And now down to number one, we've got a player you probably all know quite well, 28-year-old prop forward, London, Eddie Batty. Now this guy, again, it's a bit of an unorthodox career that he's had, coming up through like Sheffield, quite a few appearances for them, then moved over to London in 2016, over 100 appearances for them now. Obviously played through their promotion up to Super League, and then when they were in Super League, played, and honestly, it was probably their best player last year, or he definitely was up there. And this year, obviously, a few of the London lads have decided to stay in Super League. Reece Williams, Elliot Keir, etc. But Eddie Batty has stayed with him, which it was surprising to me. But like I say, it's up to these players. You can't always think about. You got to think about certain things. And if he likes it down in London, family down there or whatever, it's working well for him. But honestly, this guy could definitely be in the majority of Super League teams and make a real difference. Such a good go forward, great offload, and he can score a try for you as well. Honestly, he's got the mould of a more traditional older prop compared with some of the new props we've got in Super League nowadays. Like a Luke Thompson, a big, powerful, almost pure muscle rather than having a bit of timber on him. But he broke the mould and he's brought back that. He's shown that the traditional prop forward can actually have some success. So that's the 5 that I have chosen. So it's just been me today. No, Matt. Matt doesn't have the best knowledge at Championship anyway, so that's probably thought best. But in terms of what we're doing with the podcast, the podcast obviously usually comes out on a Wednesday. During all the quarantine and lockdown, we haven't been doing the podcast just because there's not enough to talk about, and we just don't feel like it's needed. Whereas we're going to keep getting these Saturday vids out. We've got a lot of good ideas. Even for once quarantine's over, we've got some great ideas that will be coming out. So make sure you're subscribing and liking, and make sure you're all staying healthy and staying at home. Thanks for watching. See you later.